in the NBA offseason. This is going to be like a speculation episode. As I was scrolling through social media, a lot of my videos come from some of the articles and some of the things that I actually see. This website is called complex.com, and they had 5 trade destinations for James Harden. And I honestly didn't believe that people were going to go this in depth, and I thought that I was the only one who felt that James Harden was going to get traded. Apparently not. So the very first trade, James Harden and Robert Covington would go to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Mike Scott, Josh Richardson, Ben Simmons, Zaire Smith. I'm really going to butcher his name because I'm probably going to fuck up the syllables, but Matisse Thybulle, and then a 2020 round 2 pick from the Knicks, a 2020 round 1 pick from OKC, and then a 2022 round 1 pick. So essentially, the 76ers are giving up 5 players and 3 draft picks to get James Harden and Robert Covington. I said that when Doc Rivers went to the 76ers, I believed that Doc Rivers was going to dismantle this team. I don't know if him dismantling this team would mean getting James Harden. But this was the very first trade that was on the list. And I can't say that it doesn't make sense, because it does if you're the Philadelphia 76ers and you want to compete with the Brooklyn Nets and the likes thereof. I believe that James Harden is more of a draw and more of a free agent, like eye popper, where people are like, I want to go play with James Harden versus I want to go play with Ben Simmons. So I think for the 76ers, this trade actually might work. The next one on the list is James Harden to the Chicago Bulls. So it would be James Harden just going to the Bulls by himself for Otto Porter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, Kobe White, a 2021 second round pick, and a 2020 first round pick, number 4. This is, in their speculation, if the Rockets really are ready to tear down right now and they want a number 4 pick. The Rockets may be more interested because it would be a top 4 pick in this year's draft. And this year's draft is supposed to be decent. I don't know if I necessarily like this to the Bulls, because it's been really hard for superstars to go to the Bulls since Michael Jordan left. And you're always going to be in Michael Jordan's shadow. Now, Jimmy Butler left the Bulls. Dwayne Wade left the Bulls. A lot of players have gone there and have inevitably left. So I don't know if Chicago would be the place where you would want to go if you're James Harden. Not that he would have very much choice in the deal. If you're the Houston Rockets, you don't want a team that's going to come and beat up on you, 4 or 5 times a year. Trade him to the other conference where you only have to deal with him if you make it to the NBA Finals. The next one that we have is actually fairly interesting, and this kind of goes a little bit against what I just said, because this would be James Harden going to the Denver Nuggets. According to Complex, they have them giving up Will Barton, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks in 2022 and in 2020, and they get James Harden. Now, I don't think that Michael Porter Jr. will be what James Harden is now, and James Harden is only 31 years old. They, and by they, I mean the Denver Nuggets, were a complete surprise team last year, and they looked incredibly good. Now, if you're James Harden, this would be a team that you would want to go to. But all of the hype that the Rockets have had, if James Harden goes to the Nuggets, all of that hype goes to the Nuggets. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And with James Harden, I'm going to dare and say that the Denver Nuggets would be better than the Los Angeles Lakers, and they would probably be one of the favorites to come out of the West. If you're the Denver Nuggets and you can make this trade happen, by all means, make this shit happen, because of the teams on the list so far, this is the place that I like the best, but it would be a very harsh reality to try to sell that to your fans. The next one on the list is James Harden to the Miami Heat. Now, we know that the Miami Heat were just in the NBA Finals against the Lakers, and they were kind of like a no-name team, a team of rookies, a team of up-and-coming players. And in this one, it would be James Harden solely by himself going to the Miami Heat, or Andre Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, KZ Okapala, and a 2020 first-round pick. That is way, way too much to give up for James Harden. Now, if you're the Rockets, and in this proposed trade, you absolutely jump all over this, because Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero are going to be potential superstars in the NBA. And I don't know what crack pipe the Miami Heat would have to be smoking to do this, to make this trade. Because James Harden doesn't play defense. And a big thing in Miami and most of the Jimmy Butler teams is you have to hustle hard and you have to play defense. So I call bullshit on this trade because, one, Miami is not giving up all of that talent to get James Harden. It's just not fucking happening. And two, James Harden doesn't play defense. So you're giving up 5 guys in a first round pick. Essentially, you're giving up your starting lineup to get James Harden. No, absolutely not. That is almost as ridiculous as it was for him going to Philadelphia. But at least with Philadelphia, they only had them giving up 1 star. Hell no. And then I believe the last team on the list is the Portland Trail Blazers. And seeing James Harden on the Portland Trail Blazers would be cool because, then Damian Lillard would finally have another piece. And then who knows? If Carmelo re-signs there, there's a team with 3 stars. LeBron took a team with 2 stars, essentially, and an aging star in Rajon Rondo to the NBA Finals and won. So it's completely plausible that taking James Harden and putting him on the Portland Trail Blazers might be a win. However, Harden has struggled in the postseason, so let's see what they propose that they give up. That the Rockets would trade James Harden to the Trailblazers for CJ McCollum, Zach Collins, Anthony Simmons, Nazir Little, and 2 first-round picks, a 2022 and a 2020. I don't necessarily agree with this. I mean, yes, you'd be replacing McCollum with Harden. It doesn't seem appetizing enough for the Rockets to want to make that trade. I do like the fact that it isn't in 2 players, it's in like 5 players. So if they decided that they wanted to get rid of him, they could. Zach Collins is an expiring contract. Anthony Simmons has 2 years on his deal. Nazir Little has 3 years on his deal. This is some interesting thoughts, and this is interesting food for thought. Now, of these 5 teams, the Blazers, the Heat, the 76ers, the Nuggets, and the Bulls, truthfully, Miami would be schmucks if they gave up that package to Houston Rockets. But if they did, Miami would be the team hands down that would end up getting James Harden. So that was why when I said in my last video about the Lakers, and everyone keeps making this speculation about the Lakers team getting all of these superstars. Look at what all of these teams are proposing to give up to get someone like James Harden. Now, I understand that it's a salary cap league, and they're doing this so that their salary equals James Harden's salary, and there aren't very many $40 million a year players in the league. Of all of these trades, if I'm James Harden, I want to go to the Nuggets. Now, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm sending his ass to South Beach for that package. I don't think that James Harden stays with the Houston Rockets long term. I think that they end up dealing him this offseason. What do you think of my take? What do you think of the proposed trades from Complex.com? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at Raw Sports Talk. Follow me on Twitter at Raw Sports Talk 1. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. I'm out.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it.